VS Tord Expanded Revived, October 2021. When VS Tord Expanded Revived released on October 23, 2021, it was much more than a simple continuation of BB Panzu's original mod. Instead of only featuring Norway and Tordbot, the team began rebuilding the project from the ground up. The revived build introduced a new visual style, updated sprites, improved menus, additional dialogue, and Fae removed or completely redesigned. Although the mod was still unfinished, it proved that the cancelled expanded project had a future. Andation for a much larger story mode, it also included several early ideas and joke content that would later be removed or completely redesigned. Although the mod was still unfinished, it proved that the cancelled expanded project had a future. On January 25, 2022, the team released the Red Fury beta. This version massively expanded the scope of the project. Players could experience new weeks, additional characters, more dialogue, new mechanics, improved animations, and a growing soundtrack that went far beyond the original two-song experience. The beta also introduced several characters from Ed's world, including Paul and Patrick, while beginning work on Clone Tord and future story chapters. Although rough around the edges, it gave players their first real look at what Red Fury was aiming to become. Version 1.0 September 2022. After months of development, version 1.0 finally released on September 3rd, 2022. This was the mod's biggest update yet. It expanded story mode with multiple chapters and added songs including Norway, Slitter, Target, The End, Aftermatch, Paradox, Necromancy, Ruined, Warfare, Shot Memory, Leader, The Army, Final Face-Off, Friendemy, Foe, Enemy. Free play also grew with bonus songs such as Crusade, Grenade, Graveyard, Bloodsucker, and Royale. Version 1.0 introduced animated cutscenes, multiple versions of Tord, new character icons, improved charts, custom events, and a much larger narrative focused on the Red Army and Ed's World lore. However, despite its size, many fans felt the release had been rushed, and the developers soon began planning a major overhaul. Rather than releasing version 2.0 immediately, the team surprised fans with version 1.5. This update restored previously scrapped content while completely remaking many existing songs. Numerous charts were rewritten, sprites were improved, new artwork replaced older assets, and several songs received brand new compositions or updated mixes. Some songs disappeared entirely after composers left the project, while others were rewritten from scratch. Version 1.5 represented the team's attempt to improve the quality of the mod while continuing development toward a much larger future update. Version 1.5.1 hotfix, November 2023. Only a week later, the developers released the 1.5.1 hotfix. Although smaller than the previous update, it corrected bugs, polished charts, fixed gameplay issues, and refined several assets introduced in version 1.5.1. This would become one of the final major maintenance updates before development changed direction once again. Halloween Bash, October 2024. On Halloween 2024, the team released Halloween Bash. Rather than acting as a full update, this served as a showcase of the project's new direction. It introduced Halloween-themed content, the song Bloodsucker, updated artwork, revised menus, and previews of future concepts planned for version 2.0. By this point, ownership had transferred to D-Real Turbo, and much of the original team had moved on. Although Halloween Bash looked promising, it would ultimately become the final public release of Tord's Red Fury, 2025, Code Red. Following the end of Tord's Red Fury, development shifted entirely toward a full reboot known as VS Tord Code Red. Rather than continuing from the previous mod, the team chose to rebuild the project from the ground up. The reboot featured rewritten code, a new story, redesigned artwork, updated gameplay mechanics, and support for a modern version of the Psych engine. One of the biggest moments of the year came during Funkin' Frenzy 2025, where the team officially showcased Verse is Tord Code Red to the community. The event featured a brand new trailer and was accompanied by the release of the Code Red demo, giving players their first hands-on experience with the reboot. The demo included a selection of both remade and legacy songs, including Norge, Slighter, Target, Paradox, Norway, Norski, Target, Legacy, The End, Legacy, and Sunshine. It also introduced newly remade visuals, updated menus, reworked character sprites, and a fresh interpretation of the Tord storyline. Although it was only a demo, it represented years of work and showed how far the project had come since BB Panzu's original 2-song mod back in 2021. Fans were optimistic that Code Red would finally become the definitive version of the Tord mod. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be the end of the story. 2026, the end of Code Red. By 2026, the future of VS Tord, Code Red, had become increasingly uncertain. After years of development, multiple reboots, and countless redesigns dating back to 2021, updates had slowed significantly. What had once been one of the most ambitious Eddsworld projects in the Friday Night Funkin' community was becoming harder and harder to finish. Eventually, the development team announced that Code Red would no longer continue, bringing an end to a project that had existed in one form or another for nearly 5 years. The cancellation meant that many planned features would never be released. Several songs remained unfinished, story chapters were left incomplete, and ideas that had been teased during development never made it into a public build. Despite that, Code Red wasn't a complete loss. Over the years, the project had produced remastered music, redesigned characters, updated artwork, improved coding, and dozens of concepts that inspired other Friday Night Funkin' developers. Even though the final vision was never fully realized, the work completed by the team still left a lasting impression on the community. Looking back, the journey of the Tord mod was anything but ordinary. It began in May of 2021 as a 5-hour challenge by BB Panzu featuring only 2 songs, Norway and Tordbot. From there, it evolved into VS Tord Expanded, survived cancellation through Revived, grew into Red Fury, transformed again into Tord's Red Fury, and was ultimately rebooted as Code Red. Each new version aimed to be bigger than the last, introducing new songs, characters, mechanics, story content, and complete visual overhauls. Every reboot reflected the team's desire to create the definitive Tord experience. Although the project ultimately came to an end, its influence remains visible across the Friday Night Funkin' modding scene. For many fans, Code Red will be remembered not only for what it released, but also for what it aspired to become. Sometimes a project's legacy isn't defined by its completion, but by the community it inspires. And for the VS Tord series, that legacy continues long after development has ended.